Yo, 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 this is Mr. O. Yo, 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 this is Mr. O, and today we're going to learn about translation of sine and cosine curves. Okay, so we know already by now how the amplitude and period of a sine and cosine curves works. Okay, so now let's move to translation. There are two kinds of translation: horizontal and vertical translation. Okay, so let's go first with horizontal translation. We know that the equation can be written as y equals a sine of the quantity bx minus c, or y equals a cosine b quantity bx minus c, wherein we know that the a represent the amplitude. That's how high the graph goes, and that's a half of the difference or the distance between the max and the mean, while the b, or whatever the common there that the b does represent, is always your the formula to find the period, which is 2 pi over b. Okay, so now let's find the horizontal translation. The left and the right endpoints of one cycle interval can be determined by solving the equation. So we get that quantity bx minus c, set it equal to 0. That's the initial or one of the endpoints on the left side. And same thing on the other side there, bx minus c equals to 2 pi. Solve for the x, boom, and we get the movement of our function. Okay, let's see it on this example. Y is equal to 1 half sine of the quantity x minus 3. Let's analyze it first. I can see that 1 half is your amplitude, right? Absolute value of 1 half is just 1 half. So we know that the distance from the midline will be 1 half. And the period, okay, the period here is, we know that the value of b is equal to 1 because it's bx minus c, right? B there is equal to 1, so therefore to find the period, 2 pi over 1, or just 2 pi. And let's draw the graph here. So let's say this is my x and this is my y. um So the interval should be, or the length of the initial endpoint of the first or one cycle, to the last one should be 2 pi. So how do we do it? So again, we just have to grab the bx minus c. So x minus 3, sorry, x minus pi over 3 is equal to 0. The other one is x minus pi over 3 is equal to 2 pi. Okay, so let's solve it. Um, Add pi over 3 here, add pi over 3 there. So we know that the value of x will begin of one cycle at pi over 3. And here you're going to add pi over 3 here, add pi over 3 there. So therefore x equal to, that will be 7 pi over 3. Okay, so if this is a 0 pi, let's say this is the pi over 3 here. So let's say this is a 7 pi over 3. So now we know that the cycle will be from from pi over 3 to 7 pi over 3. Okay, that's what we need. That's one complete cycle there. Okay, so let's get the half of that one. Okay, how do we get the half of that one? Disregard the pi. So let's say 1/3 plus 7 over 3. They have the same denominator anyway, so that becomes 8 over 3. Put a 2 under because it's half. That becomes 8 over 6. 8 over 6 is same thing as 4 pi over 3. So the middle will be 4 pi over 3. Okay, let's do the same thing to the quarter. So 1/3 plus 4/3 will be 5/3, but we have to put 2 on the bottom. That makes it 5 pi over 6. And between 4/3 and 7/3, so 4/3 and 7/3, 11 over 3, then times 2. So that becomes now 11 pi over 6. Okay, and that's how you find the key points. Okay, those are the key points of our one of a cycle of this function. Okay, so we know it's a sine. Sine is an odd function, so it starts at the origin. But in this case here, it will not start in the origin. It will shift starting at the pi over 3. It will go up. By the way, our amplitude is 1/2. So let's say that this portion here will be -1/2 here. So from the pi over 3, we'll go up by a half, we'll go down, go to the -1/2, and go back up there. So our graph will be, the one cycle will be this one here. Okay. Now, um, you know that this keeps going, to form another cycle. Okay. But the blue one there is one complete cycle. Okay. And we have to know the key points. We have to know the intercepts. The intercepts here are pi over 3, 0, 4 pi over 3, 0, and 7 pi over 3, 0. While our maximum value is at 5 pi over 6, 1/2, and the minimum value is, this is the maximum, this is the minimum. The minimum is at 11 pi over 6, comma, -1/2. Okay. All right. If you ask for the domain, here is all real numbers, right? And the range here is from -1/2 to +1/2. Okay. Alrighty. And let's try our next example here. This time it shows a vertical translation. That means it could go up or it could go down. Okay. So here we can tell already that our amplitude is equal to 3. That number there, that one being attached or multiplied to cosine, that's your amplitude. And the 2 here is your b. So b equals 2. So therefore, to find the period, 2 pi over 2, the answer is just a pi. So that's our period. Okay. Then this 2 here, the one being added to the function, to this term here, that is your vertical shift. That means everything will go up by 2. Okay. So there are several ways of doing this one here. Okay. So let me do it in a different perspective. Okay. Let's say that the graph has no 2 there yet. So don't look at this 2 here. Okay. Let's graph it as if it's 3 cosine 2x. Okay. So basically, we're hitting two problems in one. So we know the period is pi, and the initial point here, since it's cosine, has to start at the amplitude. So this is 3, 1, 2, 3. Start there, down 1 to -3, right? Okay. So since it's going to start with this black point there, that is your 0 pi, right? And let's say this is our what is this one here? This is our pi. That's the one period from 0 to pi, not 2 pi from 0 to pi only, because the period is pi there. Half of that one will be pi over 2. Half of the 0 and pi over 2 will be, the middle is pi over 4. And we know that this will be 3 pi over 4. Okay. In the cosine, you start the amplitude, go to the intercept, go to the minimum, go to the intercept, go to the maximum again. The graph that we expect here should be something like this dotted green cosine curve. Okay. But since, okay, this is the equation, or this is the graph for 3 cosine of 2x. But since we have a 2 here now, that means all these points, these key points here, they will all shift up by 2 points. Okay, because of the plus 2. So 1, 2. So this will go up by 2. So let's say this is the blue one now. Go up by 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 should be same level. There you go. So now the graph of our problem is this cosine curve here. Boom. And that's the one cycle. Okay. And in this case here, if you notice, guys, the 3 cosine 2x, the midline is this dotted orange line, which is the x-axis. This time, it changes also our midline, and it matches to the vertical translation. So this is our, no, no, not that one, not bad. Has to be, it goes up by 2 only. That should also be your midline, okay? Um, Now we have to find the intercept. Okay, so we know that the key points here are this blue point. What are those? Okay, so the key points there. This is the for the key points here. This is what is it? 0 pi comma 5. This one here is pi over 4 comma 2. This one here is pi over 2 comma, what is that one? Negative 1. This one here is 3 pi over 4 comma, what is that? 2. And one of the max here is pi comma 5. Okay. And there you have it. And that's how you graphed and how it shifted 2 by 2 vertical translation of the cosine curve 3 cosine 2x. Okay. And as always, kaboom.